Do you break out into a sweat when you think about having hard conversations with your employees, or do you just avoid it altogether? If so, you're going to love this week's business book review. This week's book is From Conflict to Courage by Marlene Chism. Marlene is a consultant who specializes in eliminating workplace drama, and she's written several books on the subject. And after reading this book, I'm definitely going to be checking out her other works. Most conflict resolution or difficult conversation books tend to provide tactics on how to engage in the conversations. And that's what I was expecting with this book. But very early on, I realized that this wasn't going to be going on in that direction. She's very clear. She says that conflict in the workplace isn't the issue. The issue is mismanagement. And she provides three main ways in which managers create the space for conflict in business to get out of hand: avoidance, appeasement, and aggression. And because of this unique approach to the topic, this book gets a strong 5 out of 5 head tilts. I loved it. Rather than focus on tactics to get employees to change, she focuses more on how to get you as the leader to change how you approach the difficult conversations and recognize your own part and how your leadership mismanagement creates the space for workplace drama. Ouch, right? And I'll be honest, by the way, for the first couple of chapters, I was thinking, okay, but where do we get to the part where you give me a script to have a difficult conversation? And she does get there eventually. But in order for the tactical part to work, she does a great job laying out how you first need to change the way you think about the conflict before you even address it. And one of the things that I loved, but wasn't happy to hear, but definitely needed to hear, was the notion that my comfort isn't a requirement when addressing difficult conversations. It made me realize that in the past, I've likely been unconsciously reading books like this so I could get more comfortable with having difficult conversations. I think this was the first book where the author said that that is irrelevant and furthermore, unrealistic. So she does a great job about helping you get comfortable about your discomfort, if that makes any sense. Here's some excerpts that really stood out for me. The conversation avoided today is the lawsuit 3 years later. Disagreement doesn't ruin relationships, disrespect does. The distinction between avoiding and appeasing is subtle. When you avoid, employees are in the dark, and they can't tell if you've forgotten or if you just are afraid to have the conversation. When you appease, employees might think you're nice, or they think you agree when you don't. They think you're interested when you're not. Building conflict capacity has 3 distinct but overlapping elements: inner, outer, and culture. If you have only one out of the 3, you won't be very effective. 2 out of the 3 can be beneficial, but when you have all 3, you'll excel at dealing with conflict. Culture is what a group learns as its way of surviving and both getting along internally and solving its problems externally. Culture is formed by external and internal forces. What's often missing from discussions about culture is the understanding of how the external environment influences the culture. If you're responsible for your thoughts, feelings, and actions, then it stands to reason that other people are responsible for their thoughts, feelings, and actions. The big mistake is to take on everyone else's feelings. Although actions speak louder than words, words give away secrets if you know how to listen. I can confidently say that this is the best book to engage in difficult conversations. In fact, prior to this, my favorite book on the topic was Radical Candor by Kim Scott, and it's still a great read. It gives you the tactical verbal scripts to engage in the conversations and provides a strategy on how to have those conversations. But it was missing something, and I never recognized why until I read Marlene's book. What was missing was the precursor to the radical candor, the courage to engage in the conversations. This book, Conflict to Courage, is the perfect complement to radical candor, and in my opinion, needs to be read before Kim Scott's book. Check it out and feel free to come back to this video and share with us your favorite quotes from the book so we can all benefit. And also, if you've enjoyed this video, I'd be honored if you like it and maybe even subscribe so that when I release another review, you'll be the first to know. And if you are enjoying these reviews, I think you would really love my business book scorecard. It's a free Q&A that takes just a few minutes, and at the end, you'll get a custom curated list of the top 10 books for you based upon where you're at on your specific entrepreneurial journey. Because the reality is, I've said it many times, that all books can become a 5 out of 5 if you read them at the right time in your business development. Why waste the time reading books that don't apply to you? I've already sorted through over 500 business books to share with you what the top 10 books are that would be the best for you to read. It's fast, it's free, and the link is inside the description below. Until the next review, let's both try a little harder to be a little better. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch that book review. If you liked it, I think you might like this one as well. Check it out.